one thing that frustrates me so much, especially in the US, is this narrative that, well, she should have known better, that she should have done this or he should have done that. And the cops are treated like a child with a gun that we have to negotiate with. I mean, you could see in the video the cop is the irrational, the angry one. I would have been scared shitless if that happened to me. If a guy in a mask started screaming at me, barking at me that aggressively, especially if he had a gun. And if you haven't been in a situation like that, if you haven't been hurt by the cops, if you haven't been mugged or attacked like that, you don't know how you're going to react. So you can sit and lecture and say she should have done this, that, and the other thing. But it's a very different thing if you're not trained for that and if you've never been in that position, because you can say, oh, you should comply, but when you're panicking, when you're scared, it doesn't matter. But police, presumably, are trained to deal with these situations. And yet, we don't hold them accountable. We give them the benefit of the doubt. Generally, when you have the cops called on you, it's going to be one of the worst days of your life. You're going through some kind of horrible crisis or something traumatic has just happened to you, and we expect everyone who the cops kill to behave perfectly, even if they're very young, even if they're mentally disabled or going through some kind of crisis or not right in the mind. No matter what's going on, we expect them to act perfectly, and we give the cops the benefit of the doubt, which is the exact opposite of the way things should be, especially since the cops have the power. They should have more scrutiny, not less. That's what comes with power. If you want accountable power, that's the way you treat power. You don't give them special privileges, you hold them to a higher standard. And if you actually respect the police, you should do this anyway. There are people out there who are, for whatever reason, very pro-police, but they will point out when cops act badly, when they have bad trigger discipline, when they act irrationally. When he was in the video, I really thought he seemed irrationally angry. Maybe something will come out that will show there's a reason for this, but it doesn't matter. It's your job to act calmly and speak clearly. If he can't control his anger, he shouldn't be a police officer, because he knows, he's been trained to do this. And he was, at least the guy who shot her was, I believe, a 10-year veteran. With a lot of the ICE agents, they're recruiting these guys that don't meet the standards. They're just waiving them because they need people so badly. No one wants to do this job. I wonder why. Taking people that are well-known white supremacists, that have very disturbing things on their social media, that want to do this job for what I would say are all the wrong reasons. I don't know what the right reason to do that job would be, other than the money, I guess, if you don't have a soul. But and it's kind of surprising that we haven't had more of these incidents. And it's worth pointing out that the reason we know about this was because there were legal observers and bystanders that recorded this. If we didn't have that, and if the cops got to decide whether or not they released their body cam and what parts of the body cam they released, it would be a very different story, and we might not ever get the full picture. Trump obviously wants ICE to be his secret police, to enforce his will in the places where he doesn't have a lot of reach, which is in states and localities rather than federal. And it is harder to hold these people accountable. I think Trump is actually trying to get people to riot so he can invoke the Insurrection Act and, actually have his kind of maybe more localized day of the rope type revenge. There's no easy answers here. I'm just saying we don't have the kind of numbers to actually get what we want with violence, even if you do support that. I think democratic legal means or extra legal means that are nonviolent are always preferable for moral reasons, even for strategic reasons. But I do understand why people might be frustrated. I'm just saying, especially now, I do not think that is a very wise tactic, and I think it will be counterproductive if that's the route people choose to go. It doesn't seem like they are, although I've been hearing sirens all morning. I don't know what's going on, but maybe I missed the revolution. It wasn't televised, so who knows. Someone should have called me, though. I'll be very upset if I did. And I guess I won't post this video because it won't matter anymore.